Welcome to Integration Nation. I'm your host, Dee Daniels, for Alison Sullivan's Integrative Health Team in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Alison is a licensed clinical social worker with over 20 years of experience and with an integrative team that addresses mind, body, and spirit. We want to walk side by side with you as you discover the power you have within to create the life that is truly meaningful and deeply satisfying. This is our debut episode. What an exciting time, Alison.
It is a very exciting time. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We've been doing a lot of planning, and I'm excited about what we can offer people in this new branch of our integrative mental health practice.
Why is the team approach so important? We have a team here, and everything is addressed within that team. Why is that so important?
Well, I think that's really the essence of integrative, as opposed to compartmentalized or a piece of. Integrative is really about weaving together all of the parts, and taking a team approach allows us to do that because we have people on our team that help us assist people with their mind, body, spirit in whatever way is going to be most effective for them.
A lot of people aren't on board with that. Sometimes it's just go see a therapist, but there's so much more to it, and addressing other parts is such an important thing that we do here.
Yes, I think I was attracted to it in social work school because social work teaches us about it's a big, long word that sounds super complex, but it's not. Social work talks about a bio, psycho, social, spiritual framework to look at somebody. And what that basically means is we are biological beings, the bio, with psychological processes, the psycho, who live in communities with specific and other specific systems. That's the social. And then the spiritual is the meaning we make in our lives. And so being educated in that framework started me thinking about that as a basis of integration. How are we really weaving together all of those parts to help people and empower people to live their best lives?
You got into therapy in such an important way in your own life, and I think that's a powerful story.
I think so too. I'm always concerned in talking about my story because I don't want my story to overpower the science, and the science is what heals people. The science of this is what is effective. My story is just one more example of how the science works. I experienced childhood trauma and had some of the impact of that in my life that I needed to deal with. And so what helped me heal that trauma, what helped me regain power in my life and reclaim my life, is an integrative approach. I had to learn how to address the psychological impacts of that trauma. I had to understand how my experiences impact my biological system. I had to understand how the systems that I was a part of and the systems that were around me, how that was impacting me. And I had to decide the meaning. What was the meaning? And addressing all of those things with professionals showed me, actually more than anything, how important it is to have a comprehensive team to do all of that, as opposed to a piece here and a piece there that wasn't really woven together in a purposeful way.
I think sometimes people can be a little intimidated when they first come to therapy, and when they think I'm going to address my parents' issue, my childhood issues, and that's all I'm going to address. This approach, the science behind this, really does dig much, much deeper and takes the person as a whole.
Yes, and that's another reason why it's more important to talk about the science than any one person's story, because it helps people to understand that in much the same way that going to your primary care physician helps uncover what's going on in the biological processes of your body, when you come to an integrative mental health practice like the one we have here, we're seeking to do the same thing. We're seeking to look at what's going on with your mental health and where is it likely that we can intervene to restore balance. It's not about labeling. It's not about judging. It's not about exiling in any way or disconnecting. It's about really bringing people home to themselves.
I love that. Let's take a moment before we get too far to introduce the team. Who's on the team?
Well, we have a dynamic team, and I think that's another important part of an integrative mental health practice. The team evolves and changes and uses associates in a way that the community or the particular client needs. So we have another therapist on site. We have a massage therapist on site. We also have the ability to do nutrition consultation, and we do a variety of workshops with yoga professionals in the area.
So many of us carry a heavy weight from trauma we have experienced in our journey. Maybe it's a childhood trauma involving abuse or a sudden unexpected death that rattled your world. Maybe it's illness in your life, unexplained events with yourself or your children that have left you scared and at times seemingly battling through a roaring tunnel of anxiety and feeling alone. Our Yoga to Heal Trauma 6-week series is specifically designed to assist you in your journey of healing from trauma. This workshop provides an intimate group setting with evidence-informed, gentle, and safe techniques. Suzanne Ludlam, owner of Trinity Yoga Therapy, author of An Imperfect Pilgrim and Healing on This Side of the Rainbow, will guide each participant through a practice that includes breath work, mindfulness, and somatic movement. This can promote a sense of feeling at home and peace in your body and mind. Sign up for our newsletter to be the first to know about workshops like this one. And if you'd like more information on Yoga to Heal, call 540-907-0991 or get us online at alisonsintegrativehealth.org. Yoga is such a great way to get in touch with the quiet that's inside, also the strength that's inside. Somehow you balance all of that out in yoga. One of the other things that we do and that you can get involved in, meditation and learning how to meditate.
Absolutely. Everything that we have and offer to people is the same goal of connecting all parts of the person in a meaningful and purposeful way. So, yoga is particularly well suited for that because it helps connect our mind and our body through our breath. Nutrition is vital because that's the fuel for our engine. And if we've got issues in how we're fueling ourselves, then how our engine performs is going to be affected. And there's some pretty compelling brain science that backs that up now. Meditation and mindfulness-based practices are ways that we can be aware of without being overly attached to whatever is going on in our mind and in our body. And when we're doing that, we're more in the driver's seat of directing where we want to go.
And you get to see firsthand how mindfulness, meditation, the yoga practice does work hand in hand with therapy session and talk therapy, and how that is helping people in big, big ways.
Absolutely. And in addition to that, of course, massage therapy. One of the most effective ways that we have found to deal with resolving trauma is to have concurrent appointments where people are talking through aspects of their trauma and then working it through with a body therapy.
When you were getting into therapy, did you see this going in a direction of where eventually you were going to head up your own team?
I don't know that I ever saw that. I think what continues to guide me is how can I more comprehensively provide services that people need and that I know are effective. I think that's the continual guiding light, if you will, and that's, I think, what resonated with me about titling this podcast Integration Nation, because which I actually have to give a shout out to my friend Kristen who came up with it, because, when we think of the word nation, we think about a group that has a shared meaning, a shared language, a shared goal. And integration, of course, is a weaving together of all of the parts. And so that's really how I see all of the services that we offer here for people, is a nation of integrative services to help people live fully integrated, balanced lives.
We want to, this is our debut episode here for the podcast, and very exciting, and really getting this going. We want to explain what we're hoping to accomplish with this podcast.
Well, first and foremost, I want to help people understand the value of integrative mental health. I believe mental health care is basic health care. And a big piece of educating people on the effectiveness of this involves breaking the stigma attached to it. And so I think podcasts, because they're accessible to everyone, is a really powerful way to not only break the stigma of accessing mental health, but to help people understand what effective mental health includes. So that's the primary goal.
One of the themes that I sense with Alison's integrative health, and that I love about it and I love about the team, is you are always trying to find the path to someone speaking their own truth and loving themselves and finding the power within. That's such a powerful, powerful thing. And I sense that as a theme throughout the team.
Yes, and that requires people to feel safe, both while they're here and eventually within themselves. Because once people feel safe within themselves, then everything in general seems to get better in their lives. And a lot of times I use the analogy of children when I help people understand this. If we were to see a child on a playground, and maybe that child had a broken toy, or maybe that child had a skinned knee, or maybe that child was just sitting by themselves looking pretty unhappy while other children were playing in a happy group, we would be compelled to intervene in whatever way we could to either fix the broken toy, or put a bandage on the skinned knee, or link the child up with their parent to help them, or start playing a game with them, whatever that child needed. And that's really what integrative mental health, and how we see integrative mental health, helps each individual do, is figure out, what's not working here, and then learn to sit or partner with themselves much in the same way we would partner with a child that we saw on a playground like that.
That's so powerful. I love the way you paint that picture, because it's really seeing the need that is there in yourself. And one of the things that I have heard you, one of the analogies I've heard you use over and over, and I love it, and it sticks with me so much, Alison, and I think about it once a week when I'm involved in my own self-care and self-love, is sitting on a bench with yourself. And I love how you paint this picture regarding better ways to have compassion for yourself and what you're going through on a daily basis.
Yes, I think that sometimes, actually for very complicated reasons, we've developed this notion, this mistaken notion in our culture, that self-neglect is somehow honorable, and it's how we care for other people. And it's really not the case. It really just, that doesn't bear out in the healthcare field. That actually creates disconnection, not only within ourselves, but with the people around us. And it actually creates a breeding ground for illness, however that illness shows up in our mind, body. And so when we can learn how to be in relationship with ourselves as if we were our own cherished friend, then that not only fixes whatever is going on within us, but that creates a launching pad for us to develop the relationships and the other dreams that we all have in our outer life. But we can't create that outside of ourselves if we don't have that within ourselves. And another way I really think that it's easy for people to latch on to this idea is, if we don't ever change the oil in our car, if we don't ever take our car in to get serviced, if we don't ever rotate the tires, if we don't even do even more basic things like fill it up with the right kind of gas, yet we expect our engine to perform optimally and get us where we want to go, we're going to be really disappointed. So integrative mental health care, the way we practice it, is a deep, intimate connection with all parts of ourselves, much like a car. So when we know exactly what's going on under the hood and we take care of that, and we are paying attention to the signs and signals, then we're going to have a car that's going to get us where we want to go in a way that we expect. And that's the same way in our own lives. If we understand our thinking patterns and how to restructure those, if we understand how we deal with emotions in our body and what we need to do to process that and work that through, if we understand how to manage stress through self-care and exercise and meditation, and we understand how to fuel our body and keep it balanced with adequate nutrition and supplements, then really that's when all things are possible.
I love that, especially the analogy with the car and taking care of yourself. Talking about self-care, another theme that we hear a lot is, I feel stuck in my life. And I think that's a common theme for a lot of us. And we do get stuck, sometimes more than once. We get stuck in our lives. And so we get to a place where we're stuck and we don't know what to do and we don't know how to go forward. Do you suggest one of the first things we do is to start by sitting on the bench with yourself and saying, okay, it's okay where we are in this present moment, and what do we do next? How do we go forward?
I think that's an essential way to start the process, and I think that's an invitation to a deeper connection with ourselves. So sometimes when I think about this, especially as it relates to a team, as opposed to me being just an individual practitioner, is, if something's wrong with my computer, then I know how to restart it. That's pretty much what I need. I know how to, empty the recycle bin. I know how to restart it. At the end of that, or I know how to run the troubleshooter. After that, I'm done. I'm out. That's it. And right. I'm stuck. And if I need my computer to do something, but I'm stuck, then what's going to happen if I'm just there by myself? A team approach, and actually in an individual's life, coming to speak to someone about this, especially an integrative mental health therapist, allows you to get more tools in your toolbox to unstick you. It's not about judging, I knew someone like you would get stuck. It's not about that, which I think is a big fear for people. It's about understanding how all the systems work together so that we can accurately diagnose where the stuck is and put a treatment plan in place that's going to not only unstick you, but get you out of the cycle that got you stuck to begin with. Because it's one thing if, like if we were to go address just, if I had pain in my foot and I just went to address one aspect of that, if I don't figure out what I'm doing to create the pain in my foot, I'm going to keep just needing to get my foot unstuck. But what integrative mental health does is it gets you out of the stuck pattern.
That's powerful stuff. The team approach, the deeper connection. I love that. When you are meeting with clients, I know sometimes certain phrases kind of stick with you. And one of those phrases that I know really highlights what we're talking about is this going home to yourself that you heard someone say. I love that. That's powerful. That's almost emotional in itself, just hearing that, going home to yourself.
Well, it absolutely is, because home, there's so much power in that word. When ideally, home is our sanctuary. Home is the ultimate place of belonging, of connection, of rest, of being seen and cared for. And so when we can create that within ourselves, then really I can't think of a more powerful way that we are then able to show up to give to others. But if we aren't at home within ourselves, then we're impaired in whatever we're doing outside of ourselves. And so integrative mental health and taking the time to really integratively address what's going on in your life isn't selfish. It's actually self-care in its most basic way.
When you would like to address some of the things that are going on in your world, in your life, in your journey, what a great place to start with the team here at Alison Sullivan's Integrative Health. So many opportunities and workshops that we have coming up, so many things that people can get involved in. We're excited about a lot of stuff here.
Yes, and in fact, what's coming up most readily is we are having a 6-week Heal Your Trauma Through Yoga series beginning in September. Very limited to 6 people. We're super excited. It is a yoga series designed specifically to help people process trauma in a safe, effective way in their body.
Those moments, I know you've probably had them too, in the middle of a massage, in the middle of a yoga session, where something you've clicked, you've unclicked, you've unlocked something in your body that touches in an emotional place. That's the kind of stuff that we're tapping into with these healing trauma yoga sessions and things of that nature. That happens when you're in a place where your body and your mind and your spirit all aligning. Some real healing can take place.
Yeah, it's a real effective way to unstick yourself. And what I want to emphasize is that using, again, this is another dynamic way our team operates, using a trauma therapist. We have a really great yoga trauma therapist, Suzanne Ludlam, who is designing this series. So this is a person who is well versed in the science of how people hold trauma in their body. And so this series that she's developing for us is going to allow people to process that in a gentle, non-triggering, safe way, which is key. And again, that's another aspect of integrative mental health that I'm hoping this podcast educates people on, is that, here, the people that are involved in this team want people to heal in a way that's going to make their life better, not make their life harder. So any system, any workshop, any event that we offer is centered on freeing people, relieving people, healing people.
Alison Sullivan and Associates Integrative Mental Health Team is located in beautiful, historic downtown Fredericksburg, Virginia, and at Alison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. New and exciting workshops are available to you that will give you personal attention to meet your needs right where you are on your journey. Sign up for our newsletter to be the first to know when registration opens for workshops like Aromatherapy 101. Here's how you can discover to use aromatherapy to support your health. Did you know that a blend of frankincense, peppermint, and lemongrass supports wisdom, optimism, and it will help you release unhealthy attachments? This is where you can learn how to support your mental, emotional, and physical health with the Essential Oils workshops available to you monthly for no charge. Come meet the team. Schedule your session today for psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, yoga, and massage, and begin restoring yourself in mind, body, and spirit. If you'd like to call, the number is 540-907-0991 and online at Alison'sIntegrativeHealth.org. As Alison always says, self-care will save your life. Let go and lean in.